So if you are American, you might want to skip this video because it could stir up some strong emotions. We're going to talk about European student loans, showing a Swedish one, my own, as an example, and just show how good debt can be eaten alive by inflation, just like it was a cheeseburger, using a McDonald's cheeseburger as an example in this case. So sit back, relax, enjoy. I've prepared some figures here for you today. So I just got reminded of this, as now is the time of year when we get the new reminders to pay off student debt here in Sweden, and for the full year my total payment here was 9,832 Swedish krona. So this is $1,080. It's split between 4 payments throughout the entire year. I always make sure to pay everything off right at once so I don't forget to do it in the other days. But the real matter here is, what type of interest do we get in Sweden? You know, it's the government is giving this loan through the central student something CSN. It's a government agency. What interest do we get here? Well, we can look at some of the Americans, and you might take a guess before I reveal the figures. So we see undergraduates here, 6.53% for the dates between July 1st, 2024 and June 30th, 2025. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the sources of the data, and we can see what's interesting here. We can see that the average rate right now for Americans, 6.39%. So this is up from the lowest rate in 2020 of 2.75%. Yes, loans in Sweden was a lot lower back then as well. It was half a percentage point in interest rate on student debt when inflation ran rampant, as we will see later on in this video. So what is interest rate today? Americans are paying 6.39% here on average, 2.135%. So when I first took this loan from the government here, very grateful for that, it was 150,000 Swedish krona, paid down now to 99,000 in this case. And what could that buy me? Well, using the price of cheeseburger back then, I'm old, I know, a cheeseburger cost 10 Swedish krona, roughly $1, you know. So that could buy me 15,000 cheeseburgers. Of course, I used it for, rent, a roof over my head, some noodles, some books, all of this stuff. But in terms of pure purchasing power, I could have bought 15,000 cheeseburgers. Now that's a lot of cheese. Can keep the belly full. How much would the original student loan, if I had taken it today, be able to get me? Well, I did some research here, checking the Swedish price to compare apples to apples. And I see that a cheeseburger today is 25 Swedish krona, and this is in line with European pricing. I just saw a billboard ad on my way home from work today, where the Euro Saver menu, as they call it, they show the cheeseburger. It's 2.3 euro. So this is in line with European pricing here, the Swedish price that we get from Uber Eats, 25 kroner. So we plug this into the calculator, we divide the original loan with the new price of a cheeseburger, and now, had I taken the same loan today as I did back when I studied from 2014 to 2018, I would have been able to get 6,000 cheeseburgers. 6,000 cheeseburgers. Man. Not even half. Wah, wah, wah. That's a little bit depressing. But it also tells a story. It teaches us a lesson if we really listen in and look behind this, because is 2.135%, is that bad or good for a loan? Should it be paid off immediately, or can you do like I do and just pay the minimum every year? Well, what do you think with the way that prices in society is moving? I think that salary definitely keeps pace with this small yearly increase. Definitely. There's almost as if this loan was not given with a profit incentive. Rather, it was given almost as a gift from the Swedish government to its citizens so that we could invest in our future. In my case, I also, I lived cheaply. Took some of this, invested it into Palantir, for example, so that portfolio larger now than the original student loan. So thank you, government. That's one thing I did with the money. You can do anything, you can put it wherever you think it gives you the greatest returns. Of course, education, great returns. You can put it into stocks, start a company of some sort. You gotta be creative with funding. But at 2.135%, that makes perfect sense. It's hard to get a better loan anywhere else. Just look at other countries in the world. For example, America here, 6.39%. Now, that's a loan with a profit incentive. That is not higher than the risk-free return. You can't put your money into a money market mutual fund or a high-yield savings account with instant access and get 6.39%. No way. Now 2.135 on the other hand, let's say you have the highest membership on Revolut, you get better interest rate than this. Definitely if you use some money market mutual funds, so even at risk-free rates, you can beat this loan. So that's one example of good debt. That's one example of how inflation eats away at loans. And we see this, you can just take this knowledge that you just got and apply it to other things. Apply it to, for example, some home loans at lower interest rates. The home continue to increase in value, whereas in high inflation times, one of the great wealth dividers is if you have a mortgage that's locked in, like we see in America today. A lot of people are not moving. They have some low rates. They don't want to move because it would be too expensive to refinance that. But you have that low interest loan, and the high inflation that we've had recently, it just eats away at loans. And in this case, it eats away at it like it was a McDonald's cheeseburger. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this example, showing some Swedish student loan here. Could be traumatizing for Americans, I know. It's a gift from the state in this case. I talked with the editor of the channel on how it is in Germany, and they also have an extremely generous system, almost as if it was a gift from the state. And this is one of the areas on YouTube which is very Americanized in terms of personal finance, where I feel like the advice to just pay off debt as quickly as possible, even referring to student loans, it does not apply to us Europeans. We sit in a very different situation. So we need some European context, some European mindset and thoughts around what to do with student loans in that case. Anyways, that's been it for this video, talking a bit about student loans. And as always, hope you guys make a ton of money, whatever investments you decide to make. Take care now.